we're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Friday, August 21st here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Ki-hoo.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! And also Melissa's with us today.
Good to be here.
Good to have you. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So we finally reached everyone's favorite day of the week, Friday. And what better way to kick off the weekend than with a quick check-in on how we're doing. So with temperatures soaring and summer heat showing no signs of letting up, staying healthy can be easier said than done. From staying hydrated to getting enough rest, how are you then, Q, taking care of your health this summer?
I've been trying to take care of myself a lot because this summer was scorching hot.
It's rough.
In fact, it's actually still hot.
And now it's humid too.
It's humid as well. So I actually wanted, being a summer person, I actually wanted cold weather to come sooner than later. But in terms of taking care of my health, I am very conscious in many ways, from trying to stay active by going on regular runs, to sleeping as much as I can, and sleeping well, of course, by going to bed before midnight, which is not easy. But I've said this on air before, maintaining a good condition throughout the week is one of the bigger challenges I face, other than working hard and like all the dramas in life that comes when you're in your mid-30s. So if I had a long day today, I would make sure I get enough rest the next day to balance things out so that I can kind of keep my energy level to above average, because I always use my smartwatch and it tells me my energy level for today depending on how well or how much I've slept. And I'm really conscious about the numbers as well. If it's below average, I'm like, oh no, I need to rest today. So I'm quite conscious about my health.
So actually, I got a smartwatch recently.
Oh, yeah,
so I
you
think
did.
I'm going to start doing that. Like, I'm going to start wearing it when I go to sleep to make sure my health is
You
also...
should make the most of that expensive watch.
I know, thank you. So what about you? How are you taking care of your health this summer?
It was so hot in Korea this summer, right? So I actually escaped to Sapporo to cool down a bit.
Gosh, wow.
It was really nice. And I added swimming to my workout routine. And on top of that, summer means short shorts and tank tops, right? Which makes me want to work out even more. So I go to the Pilates and go to the gym. Sounds like I need to try out for triathlon soon, right? And I'm also one of those people that doesn't like the taste of water. So I barely drink water. I know that's
Really?
unhealthy, but so I get dehydrated very easily. But recently I heard that if you add a little bit of salt to your water, it hydrates you much faster and it keeps you hydrated for longer. So I've been doing the water salt thing these
That's a good
days.
tip. So if you don't like water, if you put salt in, you won't have to drink as much as you normally
Exactly.
do. That's cool. So, and with the heat taking a toll on all of us here, staying healthy in summer can take a little more effort than usual. And that's why we're going to talk more about this. But first, let's take a look at the screen. The desire to stay young, live a long life, and enjoy good health is hardly controversial or unusual. And that's why scientists around the world have long been fascinated by what determines not only how long we live, but how well we live. So today on News Generation, we're taking a closer look at a new study on the limits of the human lifespan, exploring whether Korea's younger generation actually wants to live longer, and uncovering the lifestyle habits that may hold the key to Koreans' longevity. Just as you saw in the video, scientists are still trying to figure out just how far the human lifespan can be pushed. And this latest finding suggests there may be a biological ceiling that even medical advances can't completely overcome. So how long can humans live at most, Melissa?
Personally, I thought somewhere around 110, just because my great-grandmother passed away around 104 years old. But apparently, scientists say 156.
You're 56, interesting.
A Russian research institute found that even if we eliminate all the aging factors, the theoretical max lifespan for human is 156. While organs like liver can constantly regenerate by itself, brain and heart cells have built-in limits and higher mutation risks. So yeah, even with perfect science, our bodies have an expiration date.
It's interesting that there actually is a limit to this. So, I mean, this is fascinating. So, because even if we could eliminate all the major causes of aging, our bodies may still have built-in limits that we just can't escape. And while science is looking at how long we can live, so it's looking at the scientific reasons behind this and the figures, let's talk about how long we actually want to live. So, Melissa, ideally, how long would you like to live to? Ever thought about this?
I usually go around saying 75 years old.
That's pretty young, Melissa.
Right? But I thought that was pretty old when I was a bit younger.
I mean, yeah, when you're younger.
By the time I'm 75, I thought I would have traveled the entire world, experienced everything in life, and I would be bored with life. But then I look at my grandparents and they're way over 75 already. And they're still healthy and they're like living their life, enjoying their life. So with good medical care these days and people taking care of themselves through healthy diet and exercise from a young age, I feel like 75 still looks pretty young and healthy these days. I guess 75 is the new 50 now.
Right, I agree. So what about you?
It's a good question. It's a very good question, but I think it really all depends on my health. I would not want to live until 100, lying in bed sick. But I know nobody wants to actually die young. But I generally think it's all about how you accept aging and how much you actually appreciate your situation and condition, whatever age you are. Whether I'm 50 or 100, I would just want to be happy with being alive and thankful for everything I have at the moment, rather than looking back and thinking, maybe I should have done this more. I should have studied more. I should have met more friends, things like that. Because there are a lot of young people who say, I want to become much older for the money, the fame, the success. Whereas the older people say quite the opposite. They're like, success is good, money is good, but I would rather have the youth and vitality of young people. So I don't know what's right, but for me, I think I just want to live in the moment and not think too much about the future, because it's quite stressful. And who really knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Right. I think when people say they want to live longer, I think sometimes they forget quality of life is also quite important.
Absolutely.
Right. So for many people, it's not necessarily about living forever. It's about having enough time to experience the things that make life worthwhile. That brings us to an interesting question of whether that desire for more time actually translates into desire for a long life among Korea's younger generation. So we talk about how we feel about living a long life. So do Korea's younger generation actually want to live a long life these days?
Yes, they do. When I tell my friends I want to die at 75, they're like, can I pay for your rest of your 25 years of your life? And this is actually backed up by data. A survey by 조선일보 shows that 75% of Koreans in their 20s want to live up to 100. It wasn't really about the number itself, but more about the curiosity of the future and hope. They want to enjoy life, watch their grandkids grow, experience more tech, and see what the future holds. I feel like for us MZs, longevity is all about maximizing the fun.
Right. So those numbers suggest that many young Koreans see longevity as an opportunity rather than a burden. The longer they live, the more they can experience, see, and enjoy life. But there's an interesting contradiction here. While young people may want to live longer, they're also increasingly concerned about aging itself. So why do you think young people are being so obsessed and concerned about getting older these days, Kim?
What you just said is quite interesting. Younger people, the younger generation, they want to live longer, but at the same time, they're the ones who are worried the most about getting older. So one study found that young adults actually experience more anxiety about aging than middle-aged or older people. So as you can see on the screen, people in their 20s and 30s scored the highest with 3.38 out of 5 on how anxious they actually feel about aging. That concern is already shaping the way they actually live. In Korea, about 8 in 10 people reportedly start taking nutritional supplements before they turn 30, and that includes myself as well. Among millennials and Gen Zs, wellness trends include the slow aging diet, blood sugar management through things like apple cider vinegar, and of course the zero sugar products. There's so many zero sugar products, like from ice creams as well. But as well as cutting back on alcohol or actually giving it up altogether. And also Professor Ian here, a consumer studies expert, says there are a couple of reasons behind this shift, as people marry much later in their lives and they live a longer life. There's a growing sense, living alone actually, there's a growing sense that they have to take care of their own health. And she also points to the COVID-19 pandemic, which made people a bit more conscious and aware of their health and well-being.
Right, this is all interesting. So from low aging diets, from blood sugar management to taking supplements and even cutting out alcohol, wellness has become a major part of millennial and Gen Z culture. It seems the goal isn't simply to add more years to life, but to stay healthy and youthful for as many of those years as possible. So we asked our viewers on the IDA News YouTube channel, if you could choose your own lifespan, what would you choose? And here's what the results showed. The most popular answer chosen by 63% was to live as long as nature allows. Meanwhile, 17% said they would choose never to die, while 11% said they would actually choose to die earlier, and 9% chose other options. So the results were quite interesting, and it's interesting that the majority aren't necessarily looking for immortality. They seem to prefer letting nature decide rather than putting an exact number on their lives. And when it comes to longevity, Korea is already doing remarkably well, actually, by global standards. So can you tell us how long the average Korean is expected to live, Melissa?
Korea is actually one of the top longevity countries in the world. We rank third in the OECD with an average life expectancy of 83.6 years. And according to the WHO, Korean life expectancy jumped by 7.94 years between 2000 and 2021, which is a huge jump. And there are three big reasons behind this. First, veggie-heavy diets. We grew up eating lettuce, wraps, and kimchi instead of processed food. Even school lunches are designed by nutritionists to fully cover all the nutrition that kids need. Second is staying healthy, physically and socially active, as well as doing new challenging activities. CNN actually reported on a research showing regular exercise can cut early death risk by up to 40%, while loneliness and social isolation can bump it up by 32%. And third, healthcare that focuses on prevention rather than only on treatment. Clinics are literally on every building in Korea, and it's affordable and very easy to just walk in. So it's totally normal for us to go see a doctor whenever we feel like something's just a little off before it gets something serious.
So Korea already has one of the highest life expectancy among OECD countries, and the number has continued to rise over the past 2 decades. So to learn more about the secrets behind Korea's long life expectancy and how we can age more healthily, we're going to speak with a Korean medicine doctor. And that conversation is coming out right after break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
We're joined now by Dr. Lee Chang-yu, a Korean medicine doctor at a Korean medicine clinic in Daegu. So hello, Dr. Lee. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello.
Good to have you. So, Dr. Lee, what lifestyle habits have helped Koreans live longer? It's ranked quite high among OECD countries, as we just talked about. And what else can we do to live a longer, more healthier life?
I think one important idea in the Korean approach to longevity is 양생, which means nourishing life. In 동의보감, a classic Korean medical text, health is not just about treating disease after it appears. It emphasizes preventing illness by maintaining a healthy lifestyle every day. There are a few key principles. First, we should live according to a regular natural rhythm, staying active during the day, getting enough rest at night, and adapting to seasonal changes. Second, moderation is very important. Eating too much, drinking too much, or pushing the body too hard can disturb our balance. Third, Korean medicine traditionally sees physical and mental health as closely connected, so managing stress and emotional well-being is also an important part of healthy aging. I think these traditional ideas are actually very similar to what we now call preventive medicine and healthy aging. So to live a longer and healthier life, I think the key is not doing anything extreme. It is about maintaining balance, regularity, and sustainable habits throughout life.
Everything in moderation. Thank you, Dr. Lee. My second question to you is, do you see more young people taking an interest in healthy aging? And what are the most common health concerns among young patients these days?
Yes, definitely. I think younger people are becoming much more interested in healthy aging. One interesting trend in Korea is the recent running boom. In the past, exercise was focused more on appearance, such as losing weight or building visible muscle. But now more young people are paying attention to cardiorespiratory fitness, endurance, and overall body function. I think there is a shift from simply looking healthy to being healthy from the inside. At the same time, many young patients I see struggle with poor sleep, chronic fatigue, digestive problems, stress, and neck or shoulder pain. There are often These are often closely related to modern lifestyles such as long screen time, prolonged sitting, irregular meals, and not getting enough recovery. In Korean medicine, we also pay a lot of attention to everyday signs like sleep, digestion, energy levels, and stress because they can reflect a person's overall balance. So I think healthy aging is becoming less about simply looking young and more about maintaining good function, resilience, and balance from a young age.
Okay, I definitely agree with that. Our last question to you, what do you think are some of the common mistakes young people make when they're trying to stay healthy?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is thinking that more is always better. Young people are very interested in health, which is a good thing, but sometimes they become too extreme, exercising too much, following very restrictive diets, or taking many supplements while ignoring the basics. In reality, sleep, regular meals, proper recovery, and stress management are just as important as exercise. Another common mistake is focusing too much on short-term results, like weight, body shape, or numbers on a fitness tracker, instead of thinking about whether the habit is sustainable for the next 10 or 20 years. From a Korean medicine perspective, I think health is ultimately about balance. Even something healthy can become unhealthy when it is excessive. So my advice would be don't try to be perfect, but simple, sustainable habits that you can maintain for a long time.
I think that's great advice because it's so easy, especially during the summer when you're trying to, go on a diet, to look at just to be so focused on the number that you see on the scale. But like you said, it's good to be actually pursue habits that will actually help you become healthy. So I think that was great advice. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just heard from a Korean medicine doctor about some of the lifestyle and dietary habits that may contribute to Koreans' longevity, why more young people are becoming interested in healthy aging, and what they should be careful about when following wellness trends. But while many people want to live as long as possible, not everyone actually feels the same way. So why might some people not want to live a long life, Melissa?
According to some surveys, one of the reasons why people said they don't want to live as long were because, one, not wanting to be a burden on their family. And the second reason was worrying that their body and health will just keep declining. Basically, it comes down to quality of life over quantity. People would rather live few years feeling healthy and independent rather than living more but being a burden.
Right. So for some people, the concern isn't necessarily about getting older itself, but about losing their independence and then becoming a burden on the people around them. And there's another very practical concern that comes with living longer, how we're going to afford those extra years. So could living longer also mean greater financial worries then?
Oh, absolutely. Retirement plans are becoming more of a serious issue as life expectancy increases, and the retirement age is still fixed at 60 here in Korea. So it's raising more concerns about whether pensions can actually cover the rest of their lives. And also, we cannot leave out medical and hospital bills that can cost beyond the insurance payments, compensation. So alongside the desire to actually live longer comes another question: can we actually afford to live that much longer?
Right. So earlier, Melissa, you said you want to live just until 75. So after hearing all about this, has that changed a bit? How do you feel?
Maybe just a little. Not sure yet, but I think it's less about the numbers and more about the quality of life. I think that's the correct answer for sure. I want to make sure I'm enjoying my life, doing everything I want, meeting all the friends I want, and laughing a lot. I feel like that kind of life would give me more fulfillment than just living longer life.
Right. So what about you, Kyung? How do you feel about living a long life?
My dad actually told me recently that he was saying, "Aren't you glad that you don't have to support me after my retirement?" And I was like, I thought about it for quite a while because in Korea it's very common to see parents to take care of their children through university, through marriage, and even housing as well. And in turn, naturally, they expect their kids to actually take care of them until, I don't know how long, but until they get sick and so on and so forth. So I honestly don't think what the better situation is, but the bottom line is that I think everyone should be able to take care of themselves, be responsible for their own lives, no matter how many kids or how many parents, like how well off their parents are. Because I think being able to take care of yourself in a responsible way is just one of the key aspects of living a very happy, independent, but at the same time having many companions around you, happy life, I guess, in the end.
Right. So living a long life may be something many of us hope for, but living those extra years in good health and with independence may matter even more. As life expectancy continues to rise, how we prepare for those years from the habits we built today to our financial plans for the future will become increasingly important. Ultimately, perhaps the goal isn't simply to live longer, but to make those extra years worth living. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Korea time with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Kyung.
It's always a pleasure.
And also Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And hopefully we'll all live long enough to find out whether 100 really is the new 80. We are
News Generation.